Number 7. Ford Mustang GT 5.0 1987 to 1989. The Ford Mustang GT 5.0 is the car that made affordable American performance credible again, and its place at number 7 on this list understates the cultural weight it carried at the time. The 5-liter high-output V8, rated at 225 horsepower by 1987 with sequential electronic fuel injection, delivered a documented top speed of approximately 135 miles per hour in period road testing. The Fox body platform gave it a modern chassis that the muscle cars of the late 1960s had never matched in cornering capability. Quarter-mile runs came in at approximately 14.9 seconds. Those numbers placed it at the entry point of this list, not the fastest car here and not the quickest, but the Mustang GT brought a generation of buyers back to American performance at a price the European alternatives could not match. The 5.0 badge became one of the decade's defining symbols, not because of where it ranked against the Corvette, but because of what it represented to everyone who could afford it. For thousands of young Americans in the late 1980s, the Mustang GT was not just a performance car, it was the first affordable V8 that felt genuinely fast again. Number 6. Chevrolet Camaro Z28, 1985 to 1988. The Chevrolet Camaro Z28 of the mid-1980s is the rebuilding phase made visible, a car that documented in period road test data exactly how quickly American engineers could recover from the decade that had gone before. The 5-liter L69 high-output V8, producing 190 to 215 horsepower, depending on year and specification, pushed the Z28 to a top speed of approximately 135 to 140 miles per hour in documented testing. 0 to 60 arrived in approximately 6.8 to 7.0 seconds. Modest by the standards of what the IROC-Z would become, but meaningful relative to the cars the Z28 had to compete with in the segment. The chassis development that the third-generation Camaro received was a genuine advance on anything the original muscle car era had produced in cornering sophistication. The Z28 is at number 6 rather than higher because its successor pushed the platform further. But without the Z28's development work across these years, Chevrolet never rebuilds the credibility the Camaro had lost by the late 1970s. Number 5. Dodge Shelby Charger GLHS, 1987. The Dodge Shelby Charger GLHS belongs on this list for a reason that goes beyond its documented top speed of approximately 140 miles per hour. It belongs here because it made that figure with a 2.2-liter turbocharged inline-4 in a front-wheel drive hatchback at a time when the accepted definition of American muscle still required a V8. GLHS stood for Goes Like Hell S'more, a name that Carroll Shelby attached to approximately 1,000 examples of the most extreme version of the Shelby Charger program. The 175 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder delivered 0 to 60 in approximately 6.5 seconds and quarter-mile times of approximately 14.7 seconds, figures that placed it ahead of far larger and more expensive machines. Whether the GLHS qualifies as a traditional muscle car remains debated even today, but its performance figures forced it into conversations the V8 establishment did not want to have. It is here not because it was conventional, but because it demonstrated that performance did not have to come from displacement. The GLHS did not care about tradition, it cared about speed.
Number 4. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 1989 Standard. The standard Pontiac Firebird Trans Am of 1989 sits at number 4 as one of the clearest expressions of what the American V8 formula had become by the end of the decade. Not a recreation of the past, but an evolution of it. the 5.0-liter tuned port injection V8, producing approximately 215 horsepower in standard Trans Am specification, delivered a documented top speed approaching 135 to 140 miles per hour in period testing. 0 to 60 came in at approximately 6.0 to 6.5 seconds, depending on testing conditions and specification. The GTA above it used the larger 5.7-liter L98, producing approximately 225 horsepower, a distinction that separated standard from premium specification in the Trans Am lineup. The aerodynamic body, developed in wind tunnels in ways the original muscle car era had rarely considered necessary, contributed meaningfully to those figures. The Trans Am had survived the worst years of American performance without losing its identity as a serious performance car, and the 1989 standard version showed what years of gradual engineering refinement had achieved. More aerodynamic, more refined, and more complete than anything wearing a Trans Am badge a decade earlier. Its position here, rather than higher, reflects the fact that the GTA variant above it pushed the platform further mechanically, while the 20th Anniversary Turbo at number 1 belonged to an entirely different category of late 1980s American performance. Number 3. Chevrolet Camaro IROC-Z, 1989. The IROC-Z takes its name from the International Race of Champions, a professional racing series that used identical Camaros to reduce performance variables, and whose name Chevrolet attached to the performance package that represented the F-body platform at its 1980s peak. The 5.7-liter L98 V8 with tuned port injection, producing 230 horsepower, pushed the 1989 IROC-Z to a documented top speed of approximately 145 to 147 miles per hour in period testing, with some period tests recording slightly higher figures depending on conditions. 0 to 60 arrived in approximately 5.8 to 6.0 seconds. Quarter-mile runs came in at approximately 14.3 seconds. The IROC-Z's suspension tuning was more developed than the Z28's, the aerodynamics more refined, and the overall package more cohesive. Car and driver placed the IROC-Z ahead of the Mustang GT in every straight-line measurement across multiple comparison tests. It is at number 3 rather than higher because the Trans Am GTA above it occupied the same top speed territory with a more deliberate grand touring character, and because the gap between the two cars became one of the decade's most entertaining magazine arguments. Number 2. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am GTA, 1987 to 1989. The Trans Am GTA arrived as the most refined expression of the Firebird platform the 1980s produced, a grand touring version of the muscle car formula, developed with the kind of attention to aerodynamics and chassis integration that the original pony cars had never bothered with. The 5.7-liter L98 V8, derived from the same engine used in the Corvette, produced approximately 225 to 230 horsepower in GTA specification and delivered a documented top speed of approximately 145 miles per hour in period road testing. 0 to 60 arrived in approximately 5.0 seconds. Quarter-mile runs came in at approximately 14.3 seconds. The GTA's place at number 2 reflects its position as the fastest production V8 muscle car of the decade by top speed, separated from the Trans Am 20th Anniversary Turbo above it only by the decision to use a turbocharged V6 rather than the conventional V8 formula. Road and Track described the GTA as one of the most aerodynamically refined American cars of its era. The overlap between the GTA and the IROC-Z became one of the most debated performance comparisons of the late 1980s. Number 1. Pontiac Trans Am 20th Anniversary Turbo. The Pontiac Trans Am 20th Anniversary Turbo is at number 1 because no American muscle car of the decade documented a higher top speed, a quicker 0 to 60 time, or a faster quarter mile, and it achieved all three with a turbocharged V6 borrowed from a Buick. The 3.8-liter turbocharged V6, rated at 250 horsepower in official Pontiac specification and widely understood to produce considerably more, delivered a documented top speed of approximately 162 miles per hour without the electronic limiter fitted to the Buick. 0 to 60 arrived in 4.6 seconds. The quarter mile took 13.4 seconds at 101 miles per hour, placing it ahead of every other American production car on sale in 1989, including the Corvette. Built in 1,555 units, it served as the pace car for the 1989 Indianapolis 500 without modification. Period testing from Car and Driver and Motor Trend confirmed figures most observers had assumed only European machines could produce. The Trans Am 20th Anniversary Turbo did not revive the 1960s muscle car. It replaced it with something faster, more technically sophisticated, and more honest about what American performance had actually become.